the good news is that our lithium battery is finally on the island and through customs, and we think it's going to get installed tomorrow. So that's great. The bad news is for the last few days, as soon as the sun sets and solar panels stop providing energy to the batteries, they die almost immediately if the refrigerator's running. So we've been turning the fridge off, and then, you know, right before we go to bed, we'll run the engine for a little bit, turn the fridge back on just so it stays cold through the night.
We haven't eaten anything fresh out of the fridge so stuff doesn't spoil, and I haven't gone to the grocery store to replenish until we get our batteries.
Yeah, and of course it is kind of annoying as well to have the engine running when we're trying to relax and just watch TV at night. So, and that's really our last big, you know, project before we're ready to start cruising around this season. So, yeah. The morning now, and we've got our what we call the garage cleaned out. That's where we store all our stuff in the quarter berth. It also gives us access to the batteries, the bad batteries. We've tried to keep the boat from being too much of a wreck. The garage is now in our bed. That's awesome. A few things stored around the cockpit. Lindy's getting us some breakfast going. What's for breakfast, Lindy?
Egg sandwich. Sourdough baguette that I made yesterday.
Awesome. All right. Okay. Well, Aaron should be here with the batteries soon, so we're looking forward to getting this one done. It has begun. We've got batteries coming out. There's the new giant, awesome lithium battery. It was so nice to get those old broken down batteries out. We were going from 360 amp hours capacity of AGM batteries to a 300 amp hour lithium iron phosphate capacity battery. But with lithium ion, you actually get to use all 300 amp hours of capacity. With the old AGMs, you should only use half, so this was quite the upgrade for us. There we go. All right. The battery is hooked up to the fridge, at least. Got a lot more hooking up to do. Here's where the starting battery is going to still live. Yeah, the fridge is running. It's getting cold. All the things that are left in there will be nice and happy. We got a few more things done in the afternoon session, but mainly got everything set up to have a big final push tomorrow where we really hook everything up together. But this is pretty funny. All of our stuff is sitting around in the living room. So when we wake up in the morning, we will take all the stuff in the living room here, move it back to the bedroom, hopefully finish the battery installation, after which we will then move all the stuff back into the garage, have working batteries, and everything will be right with the world. What do you think, Lindy?
Mm-hmm. Exciting.
Okay, it's early the next morning. We've done the stuff shuffle. Now we have Lindy in the seat and the stuff in the bed instead of vice versa. Hopefully this is the last day of shuffling the things around, but we'll see. The good news is that the compressor's been running overtime to get the fridge back to cool. Yeah, this is the first day in a long time that we've had power overnight, and plenty of it, so we can charge things. Food's cold, we're making ice. All right.
Woo.
Lindy looks super excited. Let's see. She hasn't had enough coffee to get super duper excited, but she's working on it.
That's true.
Aaron arrived, and it wasn't long before he had all the charging components hooked up, the battery in place and strapped down, and the wires tidied. We also had him review and install all the proper fuses, something Holiday had been lacking before. We're mostly complete with the install of the new lithium battery and all the associated systems. Let's go check it out. Oh, it looks so much better in here than it did. So we got the battery there. Then all the new controllers are back here. Everything has the proper fuses on it. You can see down here underneath me where we moved the bus bars. This here is our battery monitor. We're gonna install it up a little higher, but it's sending out a Bluetooth signal right now. All this stuff is, so we can like see exactly what's going on with the batteries and the solar at all times. Very, very cool. Let's check out the starting battery. All right, here we go. Down here, got the proper fuses on it. Oh, it looks so good. Everything looks so good. So yeah, it's pretty much done, which puts us right on the edge of being able to go cruising now. Yeah, we'll go over a little bit more about what all these different controllers and everything went into the changeover to lithium batteries. This DC to DC charger keeps our starting battery in between our engine alternator and the lithium, since they aren't compatible with each other. Next to it is the charger that controls our power coming from the solar panels. You can also see the new big red fuses protecting all the systems. The battery isolator below sends power from the solar to the starting battery to keep it charged. Here you have the shunt where all power in and out of the system is monitored, and then our largest fuse protecting the alternator and the systems it's connected to. We kept our standard cheap starting battery, but did clean up the cabinet that it sits in, and we mounted the battery monitor that gives us the information collected by the shunt up near the radios. 13.47, looking good. Here you can see where every one of those devices is sending out a Bluetooth signal that shows the status and the history of what it's been doing. In this case, power going up and up and up. And then even the battery itself is sending out a Bluetooth signal showing all its vital information and state of charge. Even though our old system had worked well for us, it was nice to take advantage of these huge advances since our outdated system had been installed. We need to organize the boat. I need to clean the bottom. Our anniversary is in a couple of days. We need to go for a test sail just because we haven't even sailed at all this year. And all the while we are now watching weather hard for our 80-mile sail to Trinidad. So that will be happening sooner rather than later. All right, it's exciting. We're getting the garage more and more organized. Yeah, going all right. Yeah, still kind of a mess. Looky there. Everything's out of the V-berth. We're charging all our batteries that we had neglected to charge while our house batteries were dying. So yeah, we'll have all our radios and lights and power tool batteries and everything fully charged, so that's good. Then back here in the garage, I mean, that's about as organized as it gets. Out here I got a bunch of stuff right there to sell or give away. What do you got going on here, Lindy?
They had good looking cilantro at the grocery, so I'm making some fresh salsa.
Ooh, all right, well that'll be good to go with our celebratory snacking since the battery saga is seemingly over. Knock on wood. But yeah, wow, okay. On our anniversary, we hiked out to beautiful Prickly Point. We were right in the middle of Grenada Sailing Week. Sailing boats of all kinds come from all over the Caribbean to participate in a number of races occurring every day. It was so nice to do something fun and relaxing after all the days of boat work. It's time for us to do a test sail because we haven't sailed anywhere this year. We've just been, you know, hanging out in Grenada, doing a lot of boat projects. So we're finally done with most of them. It's a high wind day, so it might be kind of nasty out there, but we want to run the engine, you know, and get out there with the new battery and everything so that we don't have any surprises when we head off to Trinidad, which could happen in the next few days. Motor around in here a little bit, check the systems, then sail there. We'll try to actually get on our track towards Trinidad, see how it is, and the conditions should be worse today than they're going to be on Tuesday, Wednesday, which is our possible day to go. What do you think, babe? As the gusts howl.
Yeah. I'm not super excited.
Yeah. It may be a little nasty out there. All right, everything's checked out so far. Battery temperature hasn't changed much. Make sure I stay on track. Don't wreck the boat. That would be bad. All right. It looks so calm from here. All right, the engine's off and we are sailing. Pretty rough out here, not horrible. Apparent winds between 20 and 24. Yeah.
This course is west of the oil platform.
That's right, we're going east of point 7. I put it like right on it. Yeah.
I think I have like 1 mile.
About the same. Yeah. Yeah. The seas are huge. Look at this. Wow. That's wild right there. Yeah. I don't think we're gonna go that far today. There's Grenada back there. Yeah. You ready to turn around, Lindy? Alright, Lindy's ready to turn around. Alright, we got it turned around. It's pretty wild out here. I can't say it's given us confidence to leave in a few days, but we'll see. Oh yeah, there we go.
Sorry. Yeah, this is not my idea. Mike, any thoughts, opinions?
I would say the seas are quite sporty. I think we saw a couple 15ers here.
They were giant. I've
It's a
never,
big waves.
I don't think I've ever been out in waves like that.
No. Yeah, say that again.
I don't think I've ever been out in waves like that before.
Me neither. No desire or reason.
There we're heading back in. All the south coast anchorages. It's already laying down a little bit, and our wind angle back in is better than our wind angle was on the way out. There's where we were watching the sailboat race the other day, right over there. Me and Lindy were sitting right up on that point, just about to go behind that wave. Alright, I better start paying attention again before Lindy yells at me. We're back, we got tied up to the mooring. Mike took back off over to Sanitas, and we're just gonna, you know, take our time and get everything put back together. But Yeah, it doesn't give me a lot of confidence that we should go to Trinidad on this next weather window. I'm gonna look at it some more and scrutinize it some more, but we need some lighter wind for a while to settle those seas out, because it's 80 miles, so that's pretty far. What about you, Lindy? What do you think?
Yes, I agree. I'm gonna need slightly or majorly milder conditions.
Case in point.
And there you are. That's in the calm anchorage.
Man. Yeah, you know, these winds are forecasted for over 20, and they were around 20, but the seas are really big right now. The forecast was like 7 to 8, but we saw some out there that were double that, which that's common. The forecast tells you an average height and that you can expect to see double. So I think the wave height is about the same for the other days we're looking at, with lighter winds from better angles. So it's still a few days away. The forecast can get better, but we'll just have to see.
At least I think that we both are on the same page about acceptable wave heights for an 80-mile passage.
Yeah, I think so too.
So, yeah.
All right, so twice since we had that test sail, and you know, after we had all of our boat chores and boat projects done from the off season, we've had possible weather windows to go to Trinidad. The first one was just a few days after, and Mike and Jen on Sanitas, they did go on that one, made it down to Trinidad successfully, but we had decided that the weather was a little too rough for us, and we had seen a future window coming up that looked like it might be a little bit better. Well, that was about a week after, which is now, and we really thought this one looked good. We started getting the boat prepped for passages, even got as far as filing our float plan with the Trinidad and Tobago Coast Guard. But the weather trended worse, and it was already a marginal window, and we've decided not to go. So a little bit disappointing, you know, because there's not another window before Carnival, which is happening this weekend and the beginning of next week. So, but there'll be more carnivals. That's all right. That's how it goes. But thought it might be interesting to talk a little bit about the weather decisions and what we look at to decide if the weather's good enough or not for us to go on a sailing passage. Okay, so two things we need to try to get forecasts for are the wind and the waves. So there's plenty of apps like this one here that we use, Predict Wind, that show a graphical representation of the weather models that basically everybody uses. Your local weather station, NOAA, National Hurricane Center. Anyways, they all use this information. So you can see here Grenada and Trinidad, and then wind flow is mostly east to west, as it always is. We get to the time period here where we were thinking about sailing. You can see the wind speeds climbing from 16 to up to 22 knots, and the wind direction starting around 70 degrees and moving to 60 degrees. So basically, if you're looking at a chart of our track here from Grenada to Trinidad, wind is blowing in from this direction. You can also see here that our track, we have to go slightly east of a straight line due to some oil rigs in the middle, and it also keeps you out of Venezuelan water space. It's safer over here when you're in Trinidadian waters. So our longest portion of the trip here is at 162 degrees, and then we also have another little bit shorter section at 197 degrees. So with that, we can start to figure out what direction the wind is going to be in relation to the direction we're sailing. In this case, with the 162 degree track and the wind angle around 70, it puts us right about 90 degrees, which is a pretty good number, except that our forward motion causes another very important concept called apparent wind. If we were sure that the wind angle would be a little bit more behind us, larger than 90 degrees, then our forward motion would decrease the speed of the high winds and also make our sailing angle even better and more comfortable. But with that track and that wind angle, Any variation where the wind is more towards the front of our boat than forecasted will have the wind forward of 90 degrees to our bow. And in that case, the apparent wind will be increased by our forward motion and also move the sailing angle to a less comfortable one. All that to say that we can add 4 to 5 knots on top of whatever wind speed we find in the forecasts. With a wind angle about 10 degrees more to the north, we would have been sure that we could decrease our boat speed from the true wind speed and end up with a lower apparent wind speed. And another strike against this passage were wave heights between 6 and 7 feet with direction of the waves comparable to the wind. So, how do we take all that information and decide whether we should go on a passage or not? Well, from our experience, and we have a lot of experience with wind in front of the beam, increasing our apparent wind and making things more uncomfortable, we're most comfortable in winds between 10 and 15 knots. When we start seeing 15 to 20, we really need the wind to be a little more behind us for comfortable sailing on holiday. And we'd never go out with anything 20 to 25 or above. And in all these instances, I'm referring to forecasted wind speeds. Going out with wind forecasted between 10 and 15, we've often seen winds much higher, even up to 30 knots. So what made us decide not to go on this weather window? With this forecast, it was really pretty borderline. It's possible that the wind could have been behind the beam, but even then the wind speeds were pretty high. And with our luck, the wind probably would have been a lot closer to the nose than we would have ever thought. Also, the wave forecast is for the average height of waves. There can often be waves twice the height of the average. So being out there charging into 12-footers wasn't exactly what we were wanting to do. Another deciding factor is the length of this passage. The distance between Grenada and Trinidad is more than double the distance between most of the other islands in the Eastern Caribbean, like a lot of the passages that you saw us do last season. So we knew whatever conditions we found ourselves in, we would be out there for quite a while. So put that all together, and even though we wanted to go to Carnival and see the country of Trinidad as soon as possible, we went with safety and comfort like you find us always doing.
What's going on out here?
Well, it's been a really slow start to the season with getting the lithium batteries and then waiting for weather and never really finding it. But now we're gonna start moving. Tomorrow we decided to go north, so we're gonna go check out the west coast of Grenada over there near St. George's and then on to Carriacou. So yeah, we noticed that our chain looked pretty bad, so I'm gonna pull it all out and inspect it. You can see the rust just coming off of it there.
So that looks pretty bad, but he's getting to the end that we haven't used much. It looks better.
So yeah, all right, well, I'm gonna keep on flaking it out here and then we'll take a good look at it and decide what to do next.
And in the meantime, I might get him to button his shirt correctly. We'll see.
Okay, we're trying to make a decision here. So each one of these is about 20 feet. We can see about 20, 40, 60, 80, on to 100 foot looks okay. Then this other 80 feet starts to look pretty bad. That's the first 80 feet. So we could cut some off, not do anything, or buy new chain. Either way, I think we'd get new chain at the end of the season, even if we stick with it. But yeah, trying to decide what's best. In the end, we decided to just keep monitoring it for now and be mindful of any strong wind events that might be coming. But with that, we were finally done with all of our prep work for our 7th year of cruising. It was time to go out sailing. Stay tuned for our next episode where we get out of the southern bays of Grenada and start heading north for some real exploring. Oh, was I turning my head away from the camera again? Okay. Okay. With the bonnet, with the, that's gonna make me outtake. And we had, to decide whether there's good weather, to decide if the weather's good or to decide